Adebayor legally extradictable, or could he be swapped for Just Le Deas? Hey guys, hello and welcome to Salon News Daily. If today na the first thing you come across the channel, please no make am your last. We dey kindly ask that you go subscribe to the channel so that anytime we get updates them of their nature there, you go be one part the first people wey go be notified. And if you're a returning subscriber, we want for say plenty thank you for always tuning in for watch and listen to we. We dey kindly ask that you go share we video them as part of the way where you go support we. Plenty thank you where you do so, and may God bless you. Make we kindly note that all the information that we dey broadcast na this channel na strictly for informative and educative purposes. You no get anything for do with we ideas or thoughts. Plenty thank you for your understanding. In this particular update, one of Sierra Leone's leading legal scholars, Dr. Emmanuel A.M. Sam, has inclusively delved into the current diplomatic situation around Sierra Leone, its 1974 Extradition Act, and a country known as Holland. In an expansive lecture issued on the 12th of February 2025, Dr. Sam noted that the saga has profound legal implications that requires careful analysis. Stay tuned. In his article, in which he titled Legal and Diplomatic Enigma Between Sierra Leone and the Netherlands, is Adebayor legally extradictable, or could he be swapped for Just Le Deas? Extradition treaties are legal instruments based on sovereignty, reciprocity, dual criminality, and mutual legal assistance. They ensure the orderly transfer of individuals accused or convicted of crimes between states, while respecting international law, human rights, and diplomatic relations. Key principles including state sovereignty, mutual cooperation, and reciprocity form the legal basis of an extradition treaty under international law and diplomacy. According to international law, every state has the sovereignty to decide whether or not to enter into an extradition agreement with another country. Thus, the decision to cooperate on extradition is voluntary and based on mutual consent, typically formalized through treaties or bilateral agreements. This is because extradition treaties serve as binding agreements that provide the legal framework for the process, ensuring that both parties agree on the scope of extradictable crimes, the extradition process, and the rights of the individuals involved. Extradition is often based on reciprocity, meaning states agree to extradite individuals for similar offenses to each other. Thus, the extradition of a fugitive is typically a two-way commitment where each country is bound to reciprocate the other's request for surrender provided certain conditions are met. Dual criminality is a key principle in extradition. This means that the act for which extradition is requested must be a crime in both the requesting and requested states. However, extradition may be denied if the alleged offense is not recognized as a crime in the requested country. One key point to note is that international law fully acknowledges the non-extradition of political offenders. It generally prohibits extradition for political offenses, example, dissent against the government, political activism, or acts related to national liberation. Treaties often stipulate this to avoid the misuse of extradition for political persecutions. In Sierra Leone, for example, the Extradition Act of 1974 remains a cornerstone of the legal framework for the extradition of criminal suspects to and from the country. As international crime and cooperation evolve, the Act provides a structured approach to handling requests from foreign governments while ensuring the protection of fundamental rights. The Act defines a fugitive criminal as any person accused or convicted of an extradictable offense who has fled from the jurisdiction of a requesting state. According to Section 3, every fugitive criminal is liable to be apprehended and extradited in the manner provided in this Act. The procedure for extradition in Sierra Leone is straightforward and uncomplicated. Extradition requests must be addressed to the Attorney General through diplomatic channels. Section 6 states a request for the surrender of a fugitive criminal of any country shall be made to the Attorney General by a diplomatic representative of that country. Upon receiving such a request, the Attorney General determines its validity before initiating legal proceedings. As discussed above, one of the fundamental principles of the Act is dual criminality, meaning that the offense in question must be recognized as a crime in both Sierra Leone and the requesting country. The law also stipulates that extradition shall not be granted for politically motivated charges. Section 10, subsection 1 clearly states, extradition shall not be granted if the offense is of a political character or if the request is made for the purpose of prosecuting or punishing a person on account of his race, religion, nationality, or political opinions. This safeguards ensures that the law is not used as a tool for persecution. One of the beauties of the Sierra Leone Extradition Act of 1974 is that it makes special considerations for Commonwealth nations, similar to how the Dutch Extradition Act of 1886 does for European nations. Sierra Leone's legal system has historical ties with Commonwealth countries, and the Extradition Act includes specific provisions to facilitate extradition among these nations. Section 15 states special conditions, limitations, and modifications shall apply to requests made by Commonwealth countries as listed in the first schedule. A unique legal agreement exists between Sierra Leone and the Republic of Guinea. Under Part 3, requests for extradition from Guinea are governed by a distinct set of conditions, ensuring alignment between the judicial system of the two nations. According to Reuters, in early February 2025, the Dutch government formally requested the extradition of Just Le Deas, a convicted drug trafficker believed to be residing in Sierra Leone. Dutch Justice Minister David Van Wil announced the submission of the extradition request, expressing hope for swift cooperation from Sierra Leonean authorities in combating international organized crime. Le Deas, considered one of Europe's most wanted fugitives, was sentenced in absentia by a Rotterdam court to 24 years in prison for smuggling over 7 tons of cocaine. From reports, which I have read from different international tabloids, which I cannot ascertain veracity, Just Le Deas has been in Sierra Leone since early 2023, and the Dutch government wants him back home to do his sentence. This current standoff between the two countries has profound legal implications that require careful analysis. Approaching this issue from a legal perspective rather than a political one involves significant complexities. When two countries lack an extradition treaty, as it is in the case between Sierra Leone and the Netherlands, Extradition becomes more complicated and encounters various legal, political, and diplomatic hurdles. In the context of Sierra Leone and the Netherlands, here are the key issues they may face in the extradition process of Just Le Deas. The two countries face legal limitations in effectively carrying out extradition. Without a formal extradition treaty, Sierra Leone is not legally obligated to extradite Just Le Deas. The Extradition Act of 1974 in Sierra Leone may only allow extradition under specific circumstances or to particular countries such as Commonwealth nations and the Republic of Guinea. The two countries might prefer to use diplomatic channels rather than pursue legal avenues to resolve the dilemma. The extradition must be negotiated case by case, requiring high-level diplomatic engagement from both governments. Sierra Leone may need diplomatic assurance concerning Le Deas' treatment, trial, and imprisonment, which can mean anything and everything. Sierra Leone's courts may lack the jurisdiction to approve an extradition request outside the Extradition Act scope. The Attorney General or the President might need to authorize a distinct process for extradition, which could face legal challenges. Furthermore, deportation or expulsion may be another option the Dutch government could ask Sierra Leone to pursue. However, a sovereign government cannot be compelled to deport anyone against its will. If extradition is not legally feasible, Sierra Leone might deport Le Deas for visa or immigration infractions. Conversely, if extradition fails, Sierra Leone could prosecute Le Deas locally for crimes committed within its jurisdictions. Without a treaty, extradition is uncertain and politically sensitive. Sierra Leone may demand strong diplomatic incentives, and the Netherlands may need to navigate legal loopholes to secure the fugitive's surrender. If no agreement is reached, alternative measures such as deportation or a local trial might be the best option. If Le Deas is in Sierra Leone illegally or under fraudulent documents, the government could deport him instead of formal extradition. This would be a swifter process and avoid the legal complexities of extradition. Many people have requested a swap deal between the Sierra Leone government and the Dutch government. They have also asked Sierra Leone to request that the Dutch government turn over Abdul Kamara Adebayor. This could only be achieved through political and diplomatic will, but it seems legally impossible. International law generally prohibits extradition for political offenses, especially when a person has differing opinion about a government's operations and dealings and claims an activist role. The 1974 Extradition Act of Sierra Leone states in Section 10, subsection 1, extradition shall not be granted if the request is made for the purpose of persecuting or punishing a person on account of his race, religion, nationality, or political opinions. This provision may deter the Dutch government from turning over Adebayor. Under the Dutch Extradition Act 1886 amended, the Minister of Justice and Security makes the final extradition decisions after court approval. Under this framework, EU countries do not require diplomatic negotiation to extradite suspects. Unfortunately, Sierra Leone is not a member state of the EU. Therefore, they must go through all the legal interstices to extradite Adebayor. The Dutch Extradition Act balances international cooperation with fundamental human rights protections. By incorporating provisions such as dual criminality, protection against political persecutions, and human rights safeguards, the Act ensures that extradition procedures comply with the rule of law while preventing abuses amid increasing cross-border crime and international legal cooperation. When an extradition request is submitted, the District Court of the argued review with the request to assess its compliance with legal and human rights standards. If the court approves the extradition, the final decision rests with the Minister of Justice and Security, who can approve or deny extradition based on diplomatic or policy considerations. Therefore, obtaining Adebayor could present more complications than anticipated, given the strict human rights standards the Dutch government imposed on extradition. Another area that the two countries might explore is mutual interest. This became evident years ago with the United States, Russia, China, and Taiwan. The USA requested the extradition of Edward Snowden, who was granted asylum in Russia after leaking classified NSA documents in 2013. In turn, Russia sought the extradition of Russian nationals charged with crimes in the US, including arms dealer Victor Bout, who was exchanged in 2022 for American basketball player Brittney Griner. Rather than formal extradition, the two countries have occasionally used prisoner swaps or diplomatic negotiations to address such cases. However, advancing the argument for fugitive status in Adebayor's case could be somewhat challenging for the Dutch government to consider. The Sierra Leone government may contemplate the utilization of mutual legal assistance as a potential mechanism for securing Adebayor. MLA is a crucial component for international collaboration to combat cross-border crime, enabling law enforcement agencies to cooperate effectively in addressing complex criminal activities that transcend multiple jurisdictions. Nevertheless, implementing MLA is not without challenges. Disparities in legal system, political considerations, and privacy concerns must be navigated with particular care. Although a formal extradition treaty is lacking, Sierra Leone and the Netherlands could leverage mutual legal assistance agreements (MLAAS) within established international cooperation framework. However, the Dutch government will likely seek assurance regarding the extradition of Adebayor, particularly if he holds Dutch citizenship. In conclusion, the extradition situation between Sierra Leone and the Netherlands highlights the complexities of international legal cooperation without a formal treaty. Although the outcome is uncertain, Sierra Leone might consider extraditing Just Le Deas based on diplomatic negotiations and legal factors. Alternatives like deportations or local prosecution may be explored. The extradition of Abdul Kamara Adebayor is unlikely due to prohibitions against extradition of political offenses in both countries and the Dutch emphasis on human rights. Mutual legal assistance (MLA) could facilitate cooperations but face legal and political challenges. The case underscores international law, enforcement difficulties concerning sovereignty, human rights, and legal obligations in a globalized context. This na the update. Plenty thank you wey you don take your time for listening. No forget to use self-kin tell we all wetin you think about this down in the comment section. No forget for like, share, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and stay tuned to Salon News Daily. News at una fingertip. Stay blessed.